They asked Patrick Mahomes, what was your best Kermit the Frog impersonation? He said, I'm talking right now. And I was like, I guess people are busting on him. What did I see? Brock Purdy. They said on social media that they're comparing him to Lee Harvey Oswald. I'm like, what the fuck are people talking about? Lee Harvey Oswald and Brock Purdy. Really? I'm like, and he's like, I don't know what this is. I mean, there's dumb questions, but that might have been the top one. Now, got to give props. Sorry, August, for the bad language. I apologize, but sometimes JD just uses bad words. That's the world today. He got a PR in his 600 meters. I think that's what he ran. He wanted to do under 2 minutes, and he got 1:59 in his last race of the indoor season. And saw Gumbo Chef yesterday. Gumbo Chef and Bumbles yesterday met each other for the first time in person. Angel, thank you for that wonderful, wonderful Ichiro thing about Tom Brady. That was hilarious. You always have good stuff. You need to send me that stuff because I'm always searching for stuff. So in the future, send me that stuff and I'll put it on there. But yeah, so congrats to August. Kid's amazing, man. Rock climbing. Now he's running. He's like a gazelle. He's awesome. I want to give some props. So yeah, Gumbo Chef came for a workout yesterday. We've been training together for a long time, and he's doing a show coming out, previews on Valentine's Day, and it's running through March 3rd. How do I describe the play? Takes place in a brothel with a mechanical goat or something in the show. And it's interesting because he's in the show and his niece is in the show, but they're within the show, which is kind of cool. And yeah, I said, you're acting, dude. You're in the game. That's what he was in grad school. David Hammond always say, you're in the game. Well, he's in the game. And I thought that was pretty cool. I'm going to go to see the show and everything. So I'm excited about that. You know what really got me crazy? So I finished the Mike Lombardi book on Kindle, and he talked about that the Joe Green. Now this is my time. I guess it came out 79, 80, where he's hobbling into the locker room and a kid sees him and he gives Joe Green a Coke. He guzzles it down. He gives the kid the jersey. They made it into a goddamn movie. Well, a made for TV movie under Project Peacock. And I'm like, Google it, YouTube it right away. And bam, there it is. And it's with Henry Thomas from E.T. And in the opening goddamn scene, Henry Thomas, you see him lumbering off Mean Joe Green. And now this is a 10-year-old kid, leaves his parents at the stadium, Three Rivers Stadium. It looked like, I don't know where they shot it, runs into the locker room and is waiting for Mean Joe Green as he's walking into the locker room. He's waiting for him outside, I guess, walking down the hallway in the tunnel, whatever, and waiting for Mean Joe Green, where he happens to have a Coke on it in his hands, which he didn't have in the stands, and he gets the jersey, but then he gives it back to him because he feels like it takes away his superpowers. And then Henry Thomas decides that, well, here's a report that's saying that he's going to retire. So he decides to have this, epiphany that he's going to go find Mean Joe Green. So, of course, he goes. He doesn't go to school. His parents work and everything. He rides a bike. I think he gets on a bus, and he's at the airport where he tells the stewardess that he is Mean Joe, that he's Chuck Noll's son, and is a stowaway on the plane. And then Mean Joe Green takes him under his wing, and he stays in the hotel room while he's in his own room. He goes to meetings. Mean Joe Green, gets on him because his parents, he didn't want to clean up, do his chores earlier in the movie. And Mean Joe Green goes, "This doesn't work today. You got to earn your keep and everything." Yes, Ferris Bueller for sports fans. And it just goes, and then he he starts cleaning up in the locker room because one of the coaches, there's a kid with him. So this all happens, and Mean Joe Green plays, and because he talks to Mean Joe Green, I played football till it was dark, and he was like, yeah, this kid showed me that you should play for the love of it, and if you're not with me, then go, you're out of here. So they're playing the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. So they show the stadium, but it ends up they show clips. And this is 81. They're showing clips from the Dallas Cowboys Steelers Super Bowl from 78. So it's 81, but they're using I think it was in the Orange Bowl. That's what the Super Bowl, that's the game footage they were using during that whole thing. and it just ends. It just they're playing the game. There's no end, and they're running around, and it just goes to final credits. I'm like, what the fuck happened here, man? I'm all excited to watch this, and poof, it's gone, man. I'm like, Angel, what's going on here, dude? But I was totally into it. Lanker goes to me, you watched the whole thing? I said, oh yeah. And the best part was they had all the commercials from the 80s, and they had clips for TV shows like this week's episode of Chips, which I was a huge Chips fan, and all this stuff. It was really, really, really cool. Yeah. So I mean, and I got Steve Belichick here with his mullet, dude. I mean, this is a mullet. I mean, God bless him. I mean, first of all, it looks like he wants to kick someone's ass in this picture. He really does. He looks, and I wish him the best of luck at Washington. I really do. But dude, could you smile a little bit? You look like, why are you taking a picture of me? I mean, I guess he's trying to show that he's got a chip on his shoulder. And he played, lacrosse at Rutgers. Then he was the long snapper at Rutgers, and then he started coaching with his dad. Now hey, listen, you have to get in the door. He got in the door. Like, everybody has a connection. And now he's going to be coaching the defense for Washington, entering the Big Ten. Kind of cool. And they're playing Michigan this year, so we'll see what happens on that front. But yeah, I really, really thought that was amazing. Oh, and another thing about the movie was he's limping the whole thing, throughout the whole show. And Joe Green was good. Mean Joe acting was fine. Franco Harris had it, and there were some other players, but Franco's the only one I really recognized. And then Bradshaw was in it, and the coach was played by some other guy, by an actor. But he's limping the whole time. No rehab. He's just limping. And then I'm going to play for the game. Like he did a little running, but he just limped around. And I guess you're supposed to assume that he did the rehab, but you never really saw it. So, yeah, hey, listen, yeah, Chips. Yeah, it was pretty. Henry Thomas was good. ET kid. Yeah, it was good. He was definitely, was good. So, and the Knicks, okay. Grimes was traded for, in two separate deals. What was it? Bumble sent me two. The 20 straight games, no points. But I read an interesting article about I want to get his name right because I'm going to butcher it. But Ryan Arcidiacono, who they said on the bench was telling the refs that when the guys were in the 3-point, were in the paint for too long, for 3-second violations. And he was on top of that. That's what they said about him. And, and all his teammates said, great college player, whatever. Well, he got traded to the Pistons. So they get Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks. And I wasn't happy. I thought Grimes was a guy they could have traded later. I said desperation. Rob said no. Rob and Josh, company of Jace, got into it. I mean, just debating, which was fine. And we came to the realization, because Bumbles was all for it, that I don't know what Angel thinks about it. I don't know if Angel's a Knicks fan, so I don't know what he really thinks about this, but that we all felt that it was a good trade. We all felt it was a good trade, and they got scoring. Bogdanovic is averaging almost over 20 points a game. OG Anunoby's out tonight, so the Knicks are down to 8 players, two players that have been playing with the G League team. Rob thinks that they're going to lose. Rob's like, they're losing the game tonight. I'm like, dude, you got to believe. And I don't need that bad juju, dude. I need to hear you say they're going to win, man. I need win, win, win. That's what I need to hear from you. But they said Grimes fell out with the staff. Dan Graca said the Fournier dump could have been used even in the summer if the option was picked up. But getting back 2 score vets that can shoot it from beyond the arc and add some depth. Burks is on an expiring deal. And Bogdanovic partly guaranteed for $19 million next year, but expect the Knicks to pick that up. They were seeking $24 to $25 million in salary in that range to flip in a bigger trade, because they said that the Lakers, because the trade deadline's in 24 minutes, that the Lakers and the Knicks want to try to get spite at Donovan Mitchell, who had 40 last night. They won their game over the Wiz, and I think that's 15-1 their last 16, 7 in a row for the Cavs. So they're playing good ball. Yes. And yeah, I agree. They got so the Knicks had 3 good players at cost of RJ Barrett, Grimes, and Quickly. Bogdanovic, Burke, and Anunoby's missing his 6th game tonight. And Aaron somewhere that bone spurs. I go, that's a lot of bone spurs, dude. If that's what it is, hola. there, Josh. I mean, that seems like a lot of bone spurs, in my opinion. So I guess we'll see. Yeah, Bogdanovich over 20 points, 42 from three, 47 from the field, 70 from 3-point range. Yeah, I mean, and former Nick is back. That's what Bumble said to me. And Jalen Brunson and Hart are launching their new podcast today, The Roommate Show. They won a Natty together 2016 after Hart graduated. Brunson picked up another 2 years later. So now they're going to be doing a podcast together. So, okay. But yeah, I was like, well, why getting rid of a young guy? You could trade him later. It felt like a little desperation. Rob doesn't feels Leon Rose is making the right decisions for the team. You're bringing two scorers. They're guys really off the bench. They'll fill in for a little bit now. What is Burks averaging? Isn't Burks averaging almost 40 points a game? Isn't Burks averaging? Yeah, Alec Burks. I thought I saw him averaging 14.5. Alec Burks. Mr. Alec Berg. Burks is averaging 12.6, 3 rebounds, an assist, 39 from the field. Let me see. What's he shooting this year? Okay, so he's shooting. Been in the league a long time, man. Wow. Came in 2011. So 8 years in Utah. Then he was between Cleveland, Sacramento in 2008. Actually, it was Utah, Cleveland, Sacramento, 2018-19. Then Golden State, Philly, the Knicks, 2 years. And then he got traded to Detroit. So Knicks, he averaged 13, 12. Last year's 12, 13, 12.8, 12.6. Free throw attempts. He's 90% from free throw line. 3-point. He's shooting field goals 39%. 40% from three this year, 41. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, listen, guys can put up points. Rob has joined us. Rob's taking his daughter for his permit test, I think he said today. So good luck to Podcast Rob's daughter, whose name escapes me. But he told me one time. I don't think I remember. Whatever. But yeah, so trades. Nick's got some trades. I'm cool with that. I'm very cool with that. Okay, so yeah, I mean, we'll see. You got DiVincenzo playing the lights out. And if you didn't know, his favorite comedy movie is Girls Trip, which he said was Fire. That movie's Fire. Thank you, New York basketball, for that one. Leon Rose wants to save assets for a big offseason swing, reportedly. So they're 33-18 hosting the Mavs tonight, 28-23. And did you see that they said, why aren't you playing this well? Someone said it when they played the Nets the other night. How come you didn't play this well when you were playing in Brooklyn? And he says, ask Eric Adams. Well, dude, you don't want to get vaccinated, and you're always injured. And I'm kind of, I'm tired. I had his whole speech about his time there. No one gives a shit. You know what? You came here and you didn't do shit. And you said, oh, every place is your last stop until it's not your last stop. Stay there. You guys combined for 68 points the other night against you. 68 points. Luka had 32, 18, and 9 assists. Kyrie had 36, 5 assists, 6 for 10 from three. Who cares? They only had 10 turnovers against Grizzlies Tuesday night, which is good. Mitch Robinson could be back after the All-Star break, which would be nice. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Burks is going to be 33 in July, making about 10.5. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Grimes gone, who fell out of favor with the coaching staff, and when that happens, bye-bye. That's what happens. I mean. And McBride, Rob thinks that McBride can step up. DiVincenzo has stepped up. And now you got definite scoring. You're not going to have a guy averaging, neither of these guys average 7 points per game. These guys can legitimately score. And, Knicks fans are saying, hey, Eastern Conference Final, Yankees recaps, think they go to the finals. OG gets healthy. You get back Mitch Robinson. You get Randall back in a couple weeks. You got these scores now. There's games now where, that Brunson doesn't feel he has to score 40 to keep the guys in the game. And DiVincenzo's playing out of his mind. Sky's the limit, right? Sky could be the limit. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens on that front. So, Good times had by all. Yes, I mean these are all good things. Yeah, Clippers beat the Heat on Sunday. Well, they lost last night. I think they said they'd play. Yeah, they had 7 games in 11 days. They lost yesterday to the Pelicans, and Zion had his first 20-point, 10-assist game. I think he had 21 points, 10 assists. Never had a 20-10 assist game in his career. Had it yesterday. And the NBA officials will wear patches at the All-Star game. I wonder what took them so long because everybody else has it. It's going to be at for Emirates Airlines, and the in-season tournament's going to be called the Emirates NBA Cup because Dubai is where we should be supporting Dubai, right? Because it's such a wonderful country. They have their human rights are fantastic, aren't they? They're fantastic. I'm being sarcastic if you didn't hear me that, but yeah, congrats. Now it's going to be the Emirates Airlines patches on the NBA officials. G League will get patches next season, and WNBA in 2025. Did you see about Scott Pollard? First round pick, 97, played at Kansas. Went to the finals with the Cavs in 2007. 2008, broke his ankle was with the Celtics when they won a ring. He's 48, 6'11". It's very hard to find taller people to find a heart. When my dad was in the hospital, there was a guy there waiting for a heart transplant, and he was a bigger guy, and he said it was harder to find a heart for someone of that size because, it's hard to find a bigger person to find a transplant at that. So, but he's 48, and he's looking for, which is scary, man. I'm like 6'11". Yeesh. So I'm wishing him, hopefully everything works out. Elena Deladon won't sign her Supermax deal with the Mystics this year. Will sit out. She's 34 and multiple back surgeries, but they put the core designation on her, which means that they have to get compensation for her to leave. And even if she sits out this year and comes back next year, they still can put the core designation on her because they lost Natasha Cloud to the Mercury without getting any compensation back as a free agent this offseason. And she said she would like to play elsewhere, specifically with the Aces, but the Aces aren't going to give up their core players to get her or give up assets. They won the title last year, and Candace Parker's coming back on a 1-year deal, which is only going to make the team stronger. But it kind of sucks. I mean, but that's the WNBA. I mean, I love Supermax when they're making like 150,000. I think it was 142.5 for her, which come on, she should be making that a goddamn game, not for a whole goddamn season. What do I know? Yeah, Harden passed Mo Cheeks, 15th in assists. And the Pelicans won 117-106, improved to 30-21. Clips fell to 34-16. Clippers are 9-2, their last 11. And how about wins since January 1st? The Pistons have 4, the Blackhawks have 3, and they just what's his name? Who they just waived Killian Hayes, the number 7 pick in 2020, was averaging 7 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. Never really got his shooting percentages up. And they talked about all his, intangibles, but it really didn't translate to the court. So now the elder statesman of the team is Cade Cunningham, who came to the team in 2021. And Jaden Ivey last night, they beat the Kings in Sacramento, had 37 a career high and 19 in the fourth. Hey, what's up, Jose? 19 in the fourth, and they got the win. But how about that? Yeah, they got the win yesterday. Yeah, 37, and they are now 7-43. Sacramento fell at 29-21. Can't lose to the Pistons at home. Sacramento, dude, you guys, it's like UNC after beating Duke at home, were 60-1 against Clemson at home, and were down 9.5, which was the biggest deficit, biggest lead Clemson ever had, and never really got back in the game. Never. I mean, they got it down to 2. I think they tied it at one point. Never had the lead in the whole goddamn game. And I was pissed off as hell. I blamed Hubert Davis, and Ben is my UNC guy. He watches every game. Josh does too. I blame the coach. He said I blame the players on this one, but the coach has to get the players to play. And Michigan goes, well, then the players still have to play. He can't shoot the ball for them. And I think R.J. Davis took a lot of shitty shots. Cadeau got 2 quick fouls, but out of control. And Baycott, for a guy who's been playing forever, there were a couple passes. He always looks unstable with the basketball. For every play, it looks good. He looks like he's going to lose the ball every other play. And it was a terrible loss at home to a team you've been 60-1 against, to lose only the second game ever. And the last one was in 2020. So they'd been 0 forever against UNC. I was just so goddamn. I was so, I was in, I ruined my whole fucking night. Ruined my whole fucking night. I was so pissed off. So pissed off about that. I was like, goddamn, guys, you beat Duke at home, you blow them out. Duke was never in the goddamn game. Clemson comes in, and a team you should be blowing out, and you freaking stunk it up. And then they show RJ Davis, they stupid stat. Oh, he passed Michael Jordan in scoring. Michael Jordan was in college for 3 years. RJ Davis has been there for 4 years. So, Michigan brought up a good point. I'm like, I love it. He has the fourth most threes. He passed Wayne Ellington. Who gives a shit? You know what? You got to beat these teams that come into your house, and especially a team you've dominated forever. You got to win those goddamn games. And they didn't do it. Just pissed me off, man. I don't give a shit about the points. Oh, you passed Michael Jordan. Jordan's got a fucking ring. What do you got? Let's do something this year, guys. Okay, you went to a final a couple years ago. Great. I want a championship. They keep talking about this team that great. Well, if you're that great, you got to be Clemson at home. Enough said right there. You got to be Clemson at home. Do it or shut up. Yeah, so I saw that. Yeah, Cavs 7 in a row, 15-1 the last 16. Spider had 40 points, 14th in the fourth. How about Kobe White, former UNC grad? Last year, 10 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.73 pointers made per game. 19 this year, up 9, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, almost 3 3-pointers made a game. So, but 10, almost 9 points up in his scoring. 9 points up, over 9 points. Because he was at 9 point something last season. I rounded it up to 10. I mean, Kobe White getting it done for the Bulls. I know the Bulls are sucking, but still. And Xavier Tillman is going to Boston. He is third in defensive EPM, only behind Hardenstein and Jonathan Isaac. He's only 25. Thank you, Brother, for that one. So EPM is estimated plus minus, all-in-one player metric that estimates a player's contribution to the team in points per 100 possessions for individual season. So defensive EPM measures difference per 100 possessions in points allowed with player on the court versus when he's not in the court. So this is the guy they picked up. Celtics picked up a guy, Tillman, who's only 25, who can play in the second unit and just be a defensive demon out there and just shut teams down. And that's who they got they got rid of some guy, I name it, and some draft picks. But they got a really good pickup right there with Tillman. And and that just makes them stronger for the playoffs. Playoffs? Yeah. Kyrie just shut the fuck up. And Trae Young and Scotty Barnes are going to replace Embiid and Randall on the All-Star team. A company of Jace put today that Embiid is done for the season. I didn't see it anywhere. So I was like, guys, and the slam dunk, Jacob Toppin from the Knicks, defending champ Mac McClung, Jaime Jaquez Jr. from the Heat, and maybe Jaylen Brown. Okay. Now, OKC gets Gordon Hayward, who hasn't played since December 26th because of a calf injury, who's in an expiring contract. He's 34 years old. He's averaging a 15, 5, and 5 for Trey Mann. I remember him at Florida, and Davis Bertans, who's averaging 3 points a game, and Trey Mann's averaging nothing, right? 4 points. I mean, it's a, and Hayward said he wasn't going to ask for a buyout if they didn't trade him. Well, now they traded him. They think it's a good pickup. We'll see what happens there. Miles Bridges, Charlotte said, no, blocking all trades. So nobody's getting me. And Raptors get Kelly Olynyk and Ochai Agbaji remember when Kansas, when they beat UNC? So he was the throwing guy from the Jazz. Olynyk's averaging 5 points, 4 rebounds. And Otto Porter wasn't Otto Porter on the Wiz? And he's been all, but he's from Georgetown, right? Otto Porter, that's what I was thinking about. Otto Porter. My fingers do not. Yeah, Otto Porter Jr. was on. Yeah, he's now on the Jazz, averaging a couple of years ago. He was the third overall pick in 2013. This was a guy I thought was going to be a beast, and he's 30 years old. He's making $2.39 million. But still, man, dude, I mean, what happened? You were a couple of years ago, you were lighting it up. And yeah, there was a couple of years ago where I was looking at, Maybe that was a while. 17 and a half for Chicago. And then, yeah, 9, 8, 8, 5, and 2. It's only played in 15 games this season. Last year played in 8 games. He's been injured a lot lately. Yeah, he's been injured a lot the last couple seasons. Damn. Wow. He played any playoff games? Yeah. Yes, he has. All right. Yeah, he's had played in 50 playoff games. Jesus. Oh, Golden State, he was on the bench. Got in 3 games. Started 3 games, 2021-22. Yeah. All right. Well, hey. God damn, I was like, wow, 2022 NBA champ. Yeah. Georgetown. 3rd pick overall. God, I'd like to see 2000. Let me see who was in that draft. Whew. Anthony Bennett. Wow. Oladipo and Porter. Cody Zeller. Alex Len. Holy shit. Nerlens Noel. Ben McLemore. Kentavious Caldwell Pope. He's been playing. Trey Burke. CJ McCollum. Michael Carter Williams. Steve Adams. Kelly Olynyk went 13th. Shabazz Muhammad. Giannis went 15th. Lucas Nokoria, Dennis Schrader, who just got traded to the Nets. I just saw that today. Shane Larkin, I thought he was going to be a good pro. Tony Snell is out of the league. Mason Plumlee, Solomon Hill. Jeez Louise. Tim Hardaway Jr. is still playing. Reggie Bullock. Wow, this was Rudy Gobert. Jobert. Wow, there was a lot of shitty players in this draft. Glenn Rice Jr. did not pan out. I remember Nate Walters. He didn't play that much. Wow, there is a lot of. I'm going through names of anybody that turned out to be Lorenzo Brown. Wow, that was 2013 might go down as one of the worst. I mean, you have Giannis, but other than that, and Schrader, this was Tim Hardaway Jr. has been okay, but this is a draft from the guys at the top. What a bunch of busts. Almost every one of these guys, CJ McCollum. Okay, CJ McCollum's had a long career. Well, Michael Carter Jr. Oh, wow. Steven Adams is still playing, but a lot of shitty players. Yeah. Kelly Olynyk was not the 13th best player. Wow, see that? You're like, holy shit. And the Buddy Hield, Sixers, for Marcus Morris. Another guy they threw in whose name I'm not going to even try to. And 3 second-round picks. So they said that was a good because the Nets got involved with the trade. And yeah, I got to look at the NBA trades because there was a lot. I'm not really trades today. Brooklyn is Royce O'Neal to Phoenix for salaries and 3 second-round picks. So they were comparing it with the Buddy Hield trade. So I can't. Listen, there's so many. Raptors are trading Dennis Schrader to the Nets for Spencer Dinwiddie, who wasn't playing at all for the Nets. Yeah. NBA trade. Oh, and Patrick Beverly is going to the Bucks when they said Dennis Smith Jr. might have been a better pickup. I think Patrick Beverly's just an older, Yeah, Patrick Beverly for campaign 2nd-round pick. Royce O'Neal, PJ Washington, which it said was a good trade for the Mavs, for Grant Williams, who went from Celtics to the Mavs to just a throw. Seth Curry, it's not the same player. Wasn't a 1st-round pick to the Hornets. Mavs to trade Daniel Gafford and after Kyle Kuzma talk stall. Daniel House, 2nd-round pick to the Pistons. I talked about Gordon Hayward. Monty Morris to Timberwolves. Shake Milton, Troy Brown, and a 2nd-round pick to Pistons. Oh, and Kevin Knox was traded to Utah. Oh, Pacers are trading forward Marcus Morris, 2nd-round pick and catch at San Antonio for Doug McDermott. All right. Spurs are likely to buy out Marcus Morris. Suns address defensive issues with O'Neal and Roddy. I thought Roddy was going to be a great player. O'Neal's a solid shooter. He's okay. Yeah, I mean, Jordan Clarkson staying in Utah. Pistons waived Daniel House Jr. after acquiring him in a trade. Jeez, I don't know. And there's a bunch of draft picks too, but yeah, I mean, nothing really. Yeah, Killian Hayes, I thought he was drafted ahead of Tyrese Halliburton and Tyrese Maxey. You think that's going to come back? Wow. He did not pan out at all. But yeah, PJ Washington, he's a talented scorer. His subpar efficiency can be explained away by his constantly changing role in a directionless Charlotte offense. He's an athletic 6'7" forward with defensive tools to switch. When you're play next to Luka, you're basically he must buy into being a 3-and-D role player, and the secondary shot creation comes as an added plus, especially in the postseason where defenses take away more and more of the floor space. He's shooting a career low on threes this season, been a non-factor defensively. He's been 32% in corner threes the last 3 years. I guess we'll see what happens with him. Yeah. It's trading. They're trading their only available first round pick is a gamble, but the team's ability to have 3 available first rounders after the draft wouldn't have guaranteed them any better return, nor would have helped them this season. Yeah. Now Dallas can see what it has and how far this team can go before assessing its roster again. Maybe further moves that might be needed this summer. All right. I guess we'll see how that goes. Yeah, kind of interesting, right? So I guess we'll see on that front. Buddy Hield can shoot and beat out. You can eat a guy. Yeah, the Emirates NBA Cup. I know you're all excited about the Emirates NBA Cup. And former LSU women's basketball star Alexis Morris is signed with the Globetrotters. So I looked her up. She started at Baylor, didn't play. So with Kim Mulkey, then went to Rutgers, Texas A&M, and then finished her career at LSU again with Kim Mulkey, and won the Natty with them this past season. She was drafted by the Suns, the 22nd pick, and was waived shortly thereafter. So I just thought it was kind of cool that another woman played with the Globetrotters. Thought that was very cool. Gina Auriemma, how about this? Listen to this. 1,200th win. They beat Seton Hall yesterday. They are now 20-4, 12-0 in the Big East. Seton Hall fell to 13-10, 5-7, 67-34 last night. He is behind Coach K with 1202 and Tara Vanderveer at Stanford, still coaching it with 1206 at Stanford. He remembered 1987, they had a doubleheader in Hartford at the Hartford Civic Center. UConn men, they were the first game. He said 50 people showed up to watch the game where they beat Central Connecticut. 50 people. Last night they had over 14,000. 50 people in 87 for the first game of a doubleheader against Central Connecticut. 50 goddamn people. I was like, wow. Now, he took 39 years to get to 1,200 wins. It took Coach K 47, Vanderveer 45, and he's done it all 39 years at UConn. 11 titles, 22 Final Fours, 6 perfect seasons. Hasn't had won fewer than 25 games since 92-93. They've already won 20 this year. 20 for the 31st consecutive season. And 21 straight Big East wins. Last time they lost in the Big East was to Marquette in February last year. Think about that. 39 seasons, 22 Final Fours, 11 titles in 39 years. And he hasn't had one in a couple of years. 6 perfect seasons on top of it. And they haven't lost fewer than 25 games since 93. So you're talking 32 years. 32 years, which is crazy. Yeah. Gino Auriemma is getting it done. Now, TB Brackology, which I thought was kind of interesting. So everybody's, about their net rankings. Well, the tweet basically made a lot of sense that the net is a sorting tool, not power ranking. Your opponent's net matters 10 times more than your net does. There's more comps than just winning percentage with the net rating. Takes into account game results, strength of schedule, game location, scoring margin, net offensive and defensive efficiency, and quality wins and losses. Replaces the RPI, the ratings power index, which I love all this stuff because, where you're playing the game, who you're playing, and, the net rating for your opponents means a lot. And then if, and then it's quadrant wins and all that stuff. But, everybody's worried about this. You should be worried about the teams you're playing. Strength of schedule. Instead of playing all these shitty games, you win 20 games when 5 or 6 of them against teams that you shouldn't even be playing against, kind of, I think hurts it. I see all these teams start off 10-0 and everything, and it means nothing in the end. So come on, let's get with the program, guys, right? I thought that was kind of interesting. And USC beat Cal over the weekend. Juju Watkins had her 13th game of 25-plus points in a game. She had 29. The only person ahead of her is Caitlin Clark with 19. And Michigan beat number 11 Wisconsin at home yesterday, 72-68. They're 8-15. And Wisconsin, the 11th team of the country at 16-7. Because Rob was talking about that yesterday about the parity. Wisconsin's 11th in the country with 7 losses. Used to never beat. There's a lot of parity. There's a lot of teams that aren't, 16-7 is not 11th in the country, but there's a lot of parity. There's good teams and there's a lot of shitty teams out there. So, I'm 16-7, man. And Mike Matzkin, Sean Paul said they won't make any tournaments, but future looks bright. They're going to be the ACC next year. He's doing a very good job. They beat USC last night, 83-77. They are 10-13. USC fell to 9-14. So look at Bronny. Bronny had 5 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist in the game. For the season, he's averaging 6 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 36 from the field. But I looked him up. He had 3 games double figures. And actually, they lost to Arizona on January 17th by 15, 82-67. He had 11 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. And he had 15 earlier, I think, against Oregon State. So he's had some games, okay. Yeah, he's had some games. And Katie Sharp, UConn men's basketball, 11 straight Big East wins, longest in Big East play since 2008-2009. That team, the 2008-2009 UConn Huskies, went to the Final Four, lost to Michigan State 82-73. Michigan State lost in the final to who? UNC 89-72. I need a championship. I need more wins. I need UNC going. I need to see another Josh video. Good defense. Good defense. Good defense. Oh my God, that's good defense. That'd be funny. I'd like that. I'd like that a lot. I would. I think that would be hilarious. Hilarious. Which Jay was his birthday. Daniel was his birthday the other day. And 2 weeks, I think, is Aaron's birthday. Yeah, I'm trying to grow facial hair, but as you can see, it just kind of grows in like peach fuzz. Yeah, it really doesn't grow in. And Rangers 3-1 over Tampa Bay yesterday. VC, right? VC? I always say he's wrong. VC. He had 2 goals, quick at 18 saves, his 3rd win in a row. He's 12-2. 3rd straight win. They are now 32-16-3. They're up 6 on the Canes. Yeah, good defense. And Tampa Bay fell to 27-19-5. They're 4-1 one of the last 6, the Rangers. 38. Quick is the oldest to win 3 straight games in Rangers history. 387th win, 2 behind Dominik Hasek for 15th all time. They played Chicago Friday night. Did you see Sergachev for Tampa Bay? He was going in and against Lafreniere, and he got kind of hit, and his leg went underneath the other leg, and that did not look good. That looked bad. He had just missed 17 games with a lower body injury. This one's going to keep him out for a while. Yeah, I wanted to see Sergachev if they had anything up on him, because I was like, that looked bad. That looked really bad. Sergachev. Let's see. Yeah. What'd he say? Fuck the universe. That's what he said. Fuck the universe. Yeah, I would say the same thing, dude. I don't think that's. Yeah. Yeah. Oof. Yeah. Oh my God. Wait, what did he say? Oh, he put something. Did he post something the other day? Earlier today, I made a post where I put Mikhail Sergachev's insane pain med fueled Instagram post side by side with a photo of the Leafs after John Tavares' overtime winning goal in Game 6 of round 1 last season. Highlighted a line in Sergachev's post, "I'll win, always do," and captioned the tweet, "You sure about that?" In the hours since tweeting, I've been inundated with replies, DMs telling me to stay classy, but I've done a terrible post, that this is why everybody hates Leafs fans. The response has been overwhelming to what I initially intended as a silly throwaway joke. It has made me think long and hard about how I act in online spaces. I know that as a literal nobody fan account, you all expect more of me as a fan and as a human being. That is why, in the wake of this minor scandal, I want to tell you that I've heard you and I am growing. I am this minor scandal. I want to tell you that I have heard you. I am hereby recommitting to never shutting the fuck up. The Leafs are the best. All of you other teams think big time. Leafs. Oh, so great, dude. So this is just a fan. Yeah. Okay. Good for you, dude. Who cares? I thought he was writing something else. So you're just a douchebag. Yeah. Yeah. Because it was interesting. I talked about Marlon Humphreys was bashing Belichick. He's saying greatest coach couldn't get another job. And Dion went, Jesus Lord. He goes, we have to teach the young kids about respect. You know, you basically shut the fuck up. You know, I agree. I think that's yeah. I saw Bill O'Brien still has not been Boston College football, still nothing, no change, no. I keep hearing that, yeah, Boston College, nothing about a coaching change. I've been looking, but following, yeah, nothing 3 days ago. Yeah, nothing about the football team. Yeah, they're down to two. Okay, they're down to Bill O'Brien and who's the other guy? Bill O'Brien's one of them. First round. Yeah, who's the? Yeah, great. When the narrow down to which one of which is Bill. They'll have a final round of interviews the next 2 days. Yeah, but it's not. I want to know who the other guy is. That's what I was trying to figure out. It's yeah, yeah. The former you struggled. Yeah, yeah. He's one of them. 54. So yeah, Bill O'Brien's the other one. Who's the other? Oh, Wisconsin coach Paul Christ. Yeah, he was good. Listen, fired after going 67-26 at Wisconsin. Now Wisconsin. Luke Fickell said he's going to bring in Vrabel in some sort of capacity as a consultant, but he's going to work with the Wisconsin football team this season. I guess he can bulk up a little bit because he'd be, work out with the strength conditioning and get even bigger so that the owners will be afraid of him even more next season. I can't believe Vrabel didn't get picked up. I'm really shocked about that. Yeah, I really was. And Jonathan Quick, 919 save percentage, 18 saves last night. He's in the top 15 in goals saved above expected. 920 save percentage or better in 4 consecutive starts. Last year he was 882 with the Kings and the Golden Knights. So he's really stepped up his game. Now I thought this was wild. I read this in the Post today. They have an original recording of Super Bowl I where tickets went for $12. Cigarette ads, Schmidt's beer. I used to work at a place that had Schmidt's beer, and illegal hits. I mean, they were clotheslines. They never talked about concussions. They said, "Oh, that was a good hit." I mean, grabbing, hitting in the face, all that stuff. That's different game back then. Two networks were broadcasting the game, NBC and CBS. LA Coliseum was only 2/3 full. My cousin Teddy went to the game. I want to talk to him about that. Or maybe he didn't. Did he go? I think he went. January 15th, 1967. So the Pally Center for Media at 25 West 52nd. Saturday's going to have an actual CBS recording where Martin Haupt, an engineer in Scranton, Pennsylvania. They didn't, you didn't have anything back then. They had no technology. CBS and NBC could have recorded the game and saved it, which they didn't. So WDAU TV and Channel 22 in Scranton Wilkes-Barre, that's the recording he has from the game with commercials. There's some commercials in there, and I'm dying to hear the game, man. I'm almost. If I get to the Paley Center, I guess it's sold out. But I almost want to watch that just to see what they have and interview the people at the Paley Center because I think that's an amazing. It's history. To think where this 2/3 full. They had a trumpet, someone at halftime. They had a guy who came in a space suit, I think, with the footballs. Two networks broadcasting the game. Frank Gifford, that was before he started Monday Night Football. He was one of the announcers, an analyst. Bart Starr and the wide receiver, who was the 67 Packers, who was hungover. Yeah, Green Bay Packer Super Bowl I wide receiver hungover. That's all I probably have to write in, and it'll come. Not hung himself. Yeah, Max McGee. On the eve of the first Super Bowl, 34-year-old Packers wide receiver Max McGee, an 11-year vet who had caught only 4 passes in the regular season and was fast bearing down to retirement, decided to break curfew and spend the night with 2 flight attendants that he met. I'm like, think about that. He hungover, he legend. How about that? So he's like, I'm probably not going to play the game. I mean, all right. Wow. hanging out with two stewardesses. So we had a good night before the game and an even better day at the Super Bowl. But I remember that Max McGee always stayed with me. I was like, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. So yeah, so that's NFL honors. Peppers is in the Hall of Fame. Steve McDaniels and Devin Hester. That's what I've heard so far. Peppers, Stephen Michaels, and Devin Hester, all former Bears. All former Bears. And you know, I read that book by Michael Lombardi, and he had his top 5, which I try to get. You know, I'm on a chat. Can you name the top 5? And Gumbachef got it yesterday. His top 5 all-time NFL players ever. Top 5 all-time ever. And I'll get back to it later. But he had his top 5 all-time players ever. Right? It's great. It was a great book. And so Dan Marino was 8-10, 17 years, 18 playoff games, which blows my mind. 18 playoff games in 17 years. And Matt Rule wanted Purdy at Carolina. Yeah, vetoed on that one. Sure thing, Matt. Yeah, good luck in Nebraska. Thank you, Ari Myrov. They said, you know, always talking like after the fact. But actually, Awful Announcing they were talking to Deion Sanders, and he goes, I'd love a Brock Purdy on my, to get a Brock Purdy on the team. And he said, oh, wait, it's the dark period. I'm not allowed to recruit, which I thought was pretty funny. Yeah. Rex Ryan interviewed for the Cowboys job. They said it's past his time. I don't know, man. Maybe. I guess, I feel, it's very interesting. It sounds like he misses coaching in the NFL, which he could, TV's okay, but there's nothing like the game. And, Dan Quinn's gone, and I guess we'll see what happens on that front. And Derek Thomas passed away 24 years ago today. 24 years ago. Remember that car accident? And he didn't have a will. And I remember there was all these kids, and they were all fighting over the money. I remember that. I was like, Jesus, that was messy. And Jets director of player personnel last 5 years, Chad Alexander, assistant GM now with the Chargers. He's going to work with new Chargers GM Joe Horitz, who he worked with when he was at Baltimore. So Alexander worked with Baltimore for like 20 goddamn years. I was like, holy shit, that was a long time, man. Yeah, Sky Moore is eligible for the Super Bowl. 21 catches, 244 yards, a touchdown. I guess that might take some, targets away from the greatest receiver ever, Kadarius Toney. We'll see how that works. Mike McDonald got a 6-year contract with Seattle. Yeah, Bears reportedly are drafting Caleb Williams and trading Justin Fields. I saw one where they're trading Justin Fields to the Falcons for later round draft picks. And I read also that one of the draft prognosticators is saying that Drake May could take a drop like Will Levis did last year, where he was supposed to be, could have even been a top 5 pick. And he dropped to the 33rd pick, second round. I did not think he played well. I still don't understand they said he can make every throw, but I've seen glimpses of it, but not enough to be like, this is my franchise quarterback. But we'll see what happens. They don't think he's going to last in the top 5. We'll see how that goes. The Browns, no offensive line coach. Andrew Dickerson worked with the Seahawks and Rams. Brock Purdy said keys weren't given to him, had to earn them. Yeah. Of course he did. And then Cam Newton said he wasn't a game changer. He isn't a game changer, just being honest. Meanwhile, Cam got on the biggest stage and did shit in that Super Bowl after dominating the whole regular season. Laid it down. Well, the Broncos had a hell of a defense, but after being that prolific in offense all season, the Panthers, they really dropped the turd in that Super Bowl. I mean, they didn't do anything, and we didn't hear. Cam was never got another sniff of even a conference championship game after that. That was his one shining moment in the pros, and now he's opening up a gentleman's club or something, a social club or something. He says he respected the mobsters, how they did things. They were great businessmen or something. I saw. I was like, okay, dude, best of luck. They're saying league sources say Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. could drop to the second and third day. And I was seeing something that they said, Heavy.com said that the Giants should take a feeler on Spencer Rattler, the former Oklahoma and South Carolina quarterback, for, drafting him later rounds. This was a guy who came into college like a barnstormer, and then he fell out of favor for Caleb Williams, went to South Carolina, had a big win last year at the end of the season against Clemson. He had a couple big games against Volunteers, and then kind of was up and down. And they said he looked the best at the Senior Bowl. I mean, listen, it's a crapshoot. It really is. It's having faith. Yeah, I love. We were busting. We were yeah. Having faith in. That's what Rob talked today about having faith in the front office. I think there's faith and there has to be a lot of luck, especially with these quarterbacks. You just never know. You really think you do all your homework and all this stuff, and sometimes it hits. Listen, Leaf and Peyton Manning. It was back and forth who was going to go one or two, who was going. And you know what? Peyton turned out to be a guy who had his head on his shoulders. Leaf might have had more talent, stronger arm, everything, but he was a fucking head case. And he flamed out very quickly. I mean, I still remember Akela Smith went, third in the Bengals had. They took Klingler. They took Andre. They took Ware. No, Ware went to the Bengals, but to the Lions. But Andre Ware. I mean, there was all these quarterbacks. Houston had this prolific offense, and they got to the pros, and it never translated to the pros. I mean, and then the Jets, you go on. I mean, I know Josh is a huge Mark Sanchez fan, so he still has his jersey. He loves him so much, and I'm actually setting up a lunch date where we can all go out to lunch with Mark Sanchez, and Josh can air his grievances in front of Mark Sanchez, and I just want to watch and videotape it. It could get ugly, but I kind of want to watch it. I would like to watch that a lot. Yes. So what are you going to do? Yes. I saw that. I was very interesting. And Dov Kleiman says, who's getting the ring first? Niners, Swift, or Travis Kelce? That's what they asked him at the Super. And Kelce said, me first. I mean, really? Does he really? Yeah. I mean, good luck with that. But I just, the Super Bowl, they got to ask these stupid questions. So I guess that was one of the dumb questions they had to ask. And Alonzo Highsmith, who was the GM, former U great, was the GM for the Miami football team, is going to be a front office position with the Pats. We'll see if that leads to anything. The enemy actually visited the Chiefs before the AFC Championship game. He's out of a job. We're going to see where he goes. Monday night, we're going to the Ranger game, and we're going to Keen's Steakhouse on Monday night for prime motherfucking rib. Cannot wait. And Saquon, this is also Dov Kleiman. Who knows? Reportedly, this is all reportedly that they're not going to tag Saquon for the second year in a row. He's likely headed to free agency. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. And when I see it, I'll believe it, is what I wanted to say. But we'll see what happens on that front. And yeah, this is all. I can't believe they're going to let him go to free agency and not get anything for him. I think they're going to. Why would they just let him not sign him a franchise tag? I think they'd want to get something for him. I don't think they'd just let him go for free. Why would they let him go for free? They'd want to get some compensation. Maybe they'll work out a trade. Yeah. Yeah, and so in the book I read, Mike Lombardi, they were scouting Jonathan Ogden at the time. It was at UCLA, and Teddy Bruschi at Arizona gave him fits. And it's interesting, you're scouting one guy and you see this other guy all over the field, like, who is this guy? And I think that's what I read that was the thing with in the book, and I can't remember, but they were saying they were scouting one guy, and all they kept seeing was this other guy around the field. And it might even been Darryl Green. Like, who is this guy that's making all the plays? And that's what happens when you scout. You scouted one guy, and there's one guy who's just all over the tape, and that guy ends up being the guy, becoming the guy, and that guy scouting is someone who gets lost in the trail winds, whatever you want to call it. So Willie Rofe, who started great with the Saints, went to the Chiefs. In his whole career, 3 playoff games, 1 and 2. 1 playoff game in KC in 2003. They had great lines, man. He was such a good lineman. And to think all that, and then unbelievable to see that, and that 3 playoff games. And Calvin Johnson, I still listen to Sport Illustrated, played under the influence of weed to deal with pain. I'm not shocked about that. Not shocked at all. Yeah. Yes. Oh, Josh, I'm going to enjoy it on Monday. So much so. So excited. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I know. I got you. Safety in 9 straight Super Bowls. That's what you got to bet on, Josh. Bet on the safety of the Super Bowl. 9 straight Super Bowls with safety. And Commanders reportedly hiring Brian Johnson, a prominent role on the staff. So he was the guy who took the brunt of the abuse with Sirianni, and Sirianni and his offense is staying in. Sirianni should have been let go. Not forget about his offensive defensive coordinator. Sirianni was the problem, not his offensive Sirianni. I think he lost the team, and he's still there. And they asked Emmitt Smith, would Mike McCarthy still be the coach? If he said if I was a GM, he'd be gone. They said yeah. Yeah. He said, I think he asked him why is he still there, and he goes, because I'm not the GM. Yeah, I'm telling you. And I think the Eagles should have just cut loose with Sirianni. I think Sirianni is the problem. It's not his offensive defensive coordinator. It's Sirianni, and that team's in trouble. I think they're in trouble. And Mahomes says when they win, he'll bring them back the team to Vegas for the fun stuff. But it's a business trip this time. We'll come back for a fun trip. I like that. And DJ Tiesto is not going to be DJing at the Super Bowl. Family circumstances. I'm very upset. Very upset. So Super Bowl I tickets, I think Teddy told me they were double the price. So it said $12 was the average. This Super Bowl, it's between $6,300 and $44,000. So there was a podcast I was watching where Charles Barkley said, anybody spending $44,000 on Super Bowl tickets is a fool. A fool, he said. And I do not disagree. Don't disagree at all. Yeah, I not at all. Not at all. Yeah, and I like that Saban's joining College Game Day cast as an analyst, going to work NFL draft and SEC media. He could be a really I think he's going to be damn good. I think enjoy retirement, but I think it's going to be a good pickup for him. I think it's a good move. I like that. I like that a lot. I think he knows his stuff. He's going to bring some good insight. I think that's a good move. And Bama signed number 4 overall prospect, number 5-star wide receiver Ryan Williams. And David Ubben says that Pat's he said, I can't even remember my own handwriting. That's how bad I write. I remember I subbed for in my hometown a kindergarten class, and she said, "Did you let one of the kids write on the board?" I go, "That's my handwriting." She goes, "Oh." So I can't even remember my own goddamn handwriting. But Saban should be on the cover of NCAA Football 24. And Michigan AD Ward Manuel was named chair of the College Football Playoff Committee ahead of the 12-team playoff. Congrats to you, Mr. Manuel. Congrats at all. Congrats to you at all. And I agree with Lanker. Gary Sheffield Jr. tweeted that Trevor Bauer is willing to play on an incentive-based contract with league minimum guarantees. Hell yeah. I don't care what problems he had with Mr. Cole, Garrett Cole. You need pitching, man. Let's make that happen. Yeah. I mean, and the Yankees on Fangraphs, 4th best odds to win Super Bowl, win the World Series. Are you kidding me? 4th best odds, the Yankees? What are these people smoking? I mean, what? Come on. Are you kidding me? Seriously, man. And Vlad Jr., $19.9 million arbitration, most ever. Jays offered $18.05 million. They're so far 6-2 against players with 10 pending. Players are leading, 6-2 with 10 pending cases. It topped the $14 million M's outfielder Teoscar Hernandez got after he lost last year. So Vladimir Guerrero is coming off a 264 average, 26 home runs, 94 RBIs. He's getting a raise of $5.4 million. He made 14.5. Not bad. Not bad for 2 years' work, huh? Yeah, how many years would it take me to make 14.5? Yeah, it'd take me a lot. A lot. He's eligible for free agency after 2025 and turns 25 next month. And former Met San Francisco Giants J.D. Davis waiting for ruling. He's going to get a raise either from $4.21 million to $6.55, which is what the Giants offered, or the $6.9 million that he's asking for. 248, 18 home runs, 69 RBIs. Played it all last season with the Giants. He's eligible to be a free agent after the season. So I hope he gets the $6.9 million. I mean, it's like they're off by a couple hundred. I mean, come on, man. 6.9, 69 is always better than 6.55. 69 is always better than 65. Always. Always. And Gary Sanchez is a Milwaukee Brewer, 1 year, $7 million. All right. He played 3 games for the Mets, hit 167, 1 for 7. And then he went to San Diego. Jason liked him, 72 games, 19 home runs, 46 RBIs, 218 batting average. And now he's going to take his talents to Milwaukee. So nice going there. Mets are not close at all with JD Martinez. We all talked about it, getting a protector, a DH protector for Alonso. And I just don't. I mean, I talked to Rob about this. He said they're staying with the youth movement. But guys, JD Martinez is a producing machine. Home runs, RBIs, hits for average. I'd like that. And the second no-no in the Caribbean series, Serie del Caribe history, Angel Padron. He got his first one. Ozzie Guillen, 2 no-nos. Who should be ahead of everybody? Who should be ahead, Josh? All right, let me go through my head. Orioles, Dodgers, Braves, Astros. Who else am I going to put ahead of them? So that's 4. Even then, you really think Yankees can't even win a goddamn playoff series? They're coming off an 82-80 season. 82-80 season. We're going to put them as the 4th best odds to win the World Series. Come on, dude. Really, Josh? You really think they're going to be good this year? No pitching. Same pitching as last year. Rodon's a question mark. Cortez, Nasty Nestor's a question mark. Yeah, I mean, and Soto. Hopefully Soto can hit, but can Judge stay healthy? DJ LeMahieu was down last year. So was first baseman Rizzo. Volpe, you're catching. You don't really. I know they got rid of Higashioka. Austin Wells, is he really going to put up a season? Verdugo. I'm not sold this team doing anything different than last season. So no, I think the Orioles, I think Blue Jays are going to be pretty. I mean, they got the Ginger, the former Justin Turner. I think he's going to help that team. I think he's going to come in and have a solid season. I think Toronto's better and younger. I think Baltimore's better and younger. Well, the Central, yeah, Astros are still. I mean, Altuve's back with them. I mean, they should still be a competitive team. I think they're all better than the Yankees. I really do. I mean, I guess we're going to see what happens. Yeah. So Messi's got some splaining to do. Hong Kong, he didn't play. Then he played. It came in the 60th minute in Japan. All these fans paid a shitload of money to come see him play in Hong Kong. And he said he was injured, but then 3 days later, he's okay to play. Come on, dude. I don't know about that, man. I want a refund too. And medals minus those 3 teams that are already ahead of them. So come on. You really think the Yankees got a shot at the World Series? You're only writing little things. I can't. That's why I try to get you to come on. And I understand. You don't. I respect that. But you got to write me longer things. Just send me a text message. It's better to write me a text and just write whatever you want because I can get it there from the text. Oh, Lanker sent me something. Texas Longhorn coach Steve Sarkisian announced that Arch Manning won't be competing to be the team starting quarterback for next season as Quinn Ewers is quarterback 1. Yeah, but nah. I don't. Because I see what Lanker's saying, but this is the thing. Eli sat his first 2 seasons. Sat first 2 years at Ole Miss. Yeah, I think he's fine sitting, man. I don't think he wants to go. I asked my cousin the same thing. I said, dude, he goes, listen, he's fine. And Quinn Ewers gets hurt all the time. I don't think so. I think he's going to be okay there. But yeah, I wanted to see if Josh sent me anything about it. He still, I guess he believes that they're going to be the 4th best. He thinks they got a shot at the World Series this year. Is that what you're saying to me? Because yeah. Okay, well, agree to disagree then. Agree to disagree. And I don't know, is Jose a Yankee fan? Yeah, guys are quiet today, man. Guys are quiet. Except for Josh, got a quiet day. And Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler hoping for now fall. No UFC 300 or International Fight Week, July 3rd through the 9th in Vegas per Dana White. That's not happening. And Alex Morgan left off the U.S. women's national team for CONCACAF Gold Cup. But Mallory Swanson, she's married to the Cubs guy, Swanson. She is returning from injury. Oilers 6-game win streak snap in Vegas on on Tuesday night. We were watching the game, and what I see, Conor McGregor had his first. Conor McGregor, Conor McDavid had his first short-ended goal of the season. So they lost 3-1, and that they were one game behind 17, the 92-93 Pittsburgh Penguins for most ever. Last 30 games, Conor McDavid 55 points, 28 games with a point, third most in NHL since November 2018. 44 games, 21 goals, 47 assists, 68 points. And Ichiro, third major league hit in 10th at bat, average never dipped below 300 rest of his career. And I was talking about that with Gumbo Chef yesterday because I was saying he was so prolific. Ichiro was so goddamn good at the majors, and he came in with he'd already starred over in Japan where he had a ton of hits. And I mean, yeah, so 3,089 hits, 117 home runs, and a 311 career batting average. He played his whole career in 19 years in Seattle. I didn't know he played that long. Yeah. And he had, so to start off his career, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 straight 200 hit seasons. Now, he wasn't the same player when he's. So, okay. So Josh feels as long as they're healthy enough, they're going to go to World Series. What is giving you what off last year is saying that they're going to be that they're the fourth best team to make the World Series this year? In 82 and 80 season last year, Josh, how are you telling me that they're good enough? You believe that they're going to make a World Series this year if they stay healthy? They were terrible last year. Nobody hit for average. They had more, missed games than anybody. Oh, so you're telling me, if the team is healthy at the start of last season, things would have been okay. I still don't think so. I still think that pitching staff, and that's a big if, because behind Cole is all ifs for the most part. And what did I see? One of the guys on a company, Jace does a Met thing, and he thinks that who went to the Mets? Who's the I see his face. Who went to the Mets? Who's the pitcher who went to the Mets this year? He thinks he's going to have a hell of a season this year. How come I'm blanking on it? I see his face. Mets pitchers. Yeah, Severino. He thinks Severino's going to have a very, is going to have a strong season. Listen, I hope so. I'd love to see him win 20 games this year to get his career back on track. But that 4-year, $40 million Severino was not good, man. Severino has not been good oof. Oh, yeah, yeah, look at that. So look at that. 17 and 18, 14 and 6, 19 and 8. Since then, he's gone 13 and 12. Wow. So 2 years, he won 33 games. He was phenomenal. And then from there, he went 1-1, 1-0, 7-3, 4-8. He's still young enough to turn things around. How old is he? He's going to be, he's going to be 30 on the 20th. I'd love him to turn it around. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd love for him to turn it around. Yeah, it would be great. It's not happening, but I'd like it to, but it's not happening. Yeah, so the Knicks picked up. Talk about the Knicks today. Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, and Ryan's going to the Pistons, so maybe he'll get some points there. We'll see what happens. Yeah, Hayward's on a expiring $31.5 million contract. He's a $1.8 million trade bonus that Charlotte would be responsible in paying unless he reduces, which he won't. It's applied to his $31.5 million outgoing salary. Bertans is a $17 million salary this season and $16 next year. The salary next season is guaranteed for $5.3 million. Man has 2 years left at 3.2 and 4.9. Bobby Mark says there still needs to be add more money to make this math work, which I guess they did. Sabonis has 15 triple doubles. Jokic has 15. Doncic has 9. Giannis 7 and LeBron 3. Yeah, Daniel House already got waived by the Pistons because they're looking. Yeah, so now I think the Sixers are going to try to get Kyle Lowry, should he be available through a contract buyout. And the All-Star game, I talked about that. Slam dunk I talked about. And also, I saw the 3-point shooters listed. Let me see if um, where is it? Oh, okay. Malik Beasley, Jalen Brunson, Halliburton, Lillard, Markkinen, Mitchell, Carl Anthony Towns, and Trey Young. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So that I was like, all right. Penalty kill. The Islanders are the worst. And then it's the Sharks, Wild, Canadians, and Ottawa. The best penalty kills are the Kings, Flyers, Flames, Oilers, and Hurricanes. Good for them. Oh yeah, what I see here? Yeah, and I think I saw this comparing Glaber versus Vlad Guerrero last year. Torres had a better WAR, played 2 more games, had 10 less at bats, but 4 more hits, 1 less home run, RBIs 26, stolen bases 13-5 for Torres, average 273, 264 Torres, on base about the same, slugging 453 for Torres over Guerrero, and OPS better, OPS plus. I was very impressed, and the All Star appearances is 1 more for. I was kind of impressed that the Torres. I didn't think he had that good a year, but lo and behold, I was wrong. And then what was it, head to head? Bradshaw versus Ken Anderson. I saw this too, and I was like, damn. So head to head, regular season, Bradshaw was 9-8 against him. But now back then you could hit the play. You can't touch him now. Back then you could basically mug guys as they were going down the field. So interesting enough. So Anderson played 24 more games than Bradshaw was 107-51. He was on great teams, whereas Anderson was 91-81. Completion percentage, Anderson was 59% to 52 for Bradshaw. Passing yards, almost 33,000 for Anderson, 28,000 basically for Bradshaw. Yards per attempt, both the same. Yards per game. So what I see here, Anderson 171 and Bradshaw 176. Bradshaw had 50 more touchdown passes. But listen to this. Bradshaw had 212 touchdown passes, 210 interceptions. But back then, hey, you were throwing in the coverage and stuff, whereas Anderson was 197 and 160 interceptions. It's very interesting. Hall of Fame, 4 championships. Anderson had 4 Pro Bowls to Bradshaw's 3. All Pro, Anderson 2, Bradshaw 1, MVP 1 each. But Bradshaw has 2 Super Bowls. I thought that was kind of interesting, breaking down the 2 guys. I was like, 200, but the 210 interceptions and 212 touchdowns was kind of crazy. And they have how much the cost of a 30-second ad was the first Super Bowl, $42,500, $7 million now. Cameras, 11 in the first Super Bowl, 165 now. Now both networks, ticket prices they say is $958,000 face value now, and it was $12 then. 50 million first Super Bowl, they had 120 million this year. Last Super Bowl, that's what they're expecting this year. Player shares, winning players from the Packers got 8,600. Losers got 5,300. Winners get 164,000, and the losers get 89,000. And when you bring all your family and everything, that's where a lot of money goes too. This was hilarious, like a sleep mask from Alien. Get this? Kind of cool, right? On your face. I mean, that's like, ooh, that's so scary. Now, this is awesome. This is awesome. So, Travis Kelce wasn't the same bar hound, so back when he was at college at Cincinnati, they had to get creative. So Kelce and co. turned their off-campus house into a pigsty littered in beer cans. Two drinking games always got the night started. Wayne Brewski was straightforward enough. On the Nintendo 64 Wayne Gretzky hockey video game, Bearcat teammates played 2-on-2. If you scored a goal, the other team needed to chug beer until the next puck was dropped at the face-off. And that might not seem that bad until you realize 13 or 14 goals were usually scored in what's essentially a 6-minute window. Caleros, the quarterback, and Jason Kelce could light the lamp as teammates. The best game ever was hockey. Caleros can't remember guys giving this one a fancy name. Everyone would gather around the dining room table and hold two fingers in front of a beer can to serve as a goalie. A quarter served as a pseudo puck. Whoever possessed the puck would give it a good spin and then yell out a player's name before flicking the quarter at that player's beer can for a goal. $13 for a 30 rack of Keystones kept the games flowing. $13 for 30 beers. If Jason dominated Wayne Brewski, Travis won most games of hockey. The tight ends, hand-eye coordination Caleros added was unbelievable. You could either tap the quarter or you could smack it as hard as you want at somebody's beer can who was blocking the beer can with their fingers. He said, and if they blocked it, it was fine. But if you hit the beer can, they'd have to drink it until the quarter was back up on the table. And if you put the quarter into the beer can, they'd have chugged the whole thing. So obviously he was quite adept at getting in people's beer can. So think about that, how shit-faced these guys got. That's a lot of beer and a lot of free time for these guys to have. I was like, holy shit, man. So tonight also, Cavs are playing at the Nets. They won 7 in a row, 15 of the last 16. We know the Mavs are coming in to play the Knicks. Mavs cleaning up an awful off season. I agree, some savvy trades. Thank you, Wojo, for that one. The Thad Young is being traded for Spencer Dinwiddie, and Giles, the big man, was waived by the Nets. And Dallas is also acquiring Oklahoma City's second least favorable first-round pick in the 2024 draft this June to send Washington in the Rashawn Holmes for Daniel Gafford trade. So, wow. That's kind of good. So the Mavs are trading their last available first-round pick, 2027, to Charlotte to acquire P.J. Washington. But they have managed to realize their objective of keeping Josh Green out of the trade. That's good for them, right? Yeah, it's good for them. I did that. Nets going to own every Phoenix pick for the next 5 years. I thought that was pretty hilarious. Royce O'Neal, good for him. Royce O'Neal, that's wonderful. Yes, David Roddy heading to Phoenix for pick swap. And Memphis is sending David Roddy to the Suns. And Suns pick up O'Neal and Roddy for postseason rotation. And they retain assets after this 3-team deal for O'Neal and Roddy, including a second rounder and pick swaps. So they didn't have any depth. That's what Rob was talking about. They have depth now, which is good. Second rounder and pick swaps. All right, good for them. And Phoenix has 2 roster spots open to pursue additions on the buyout market, which there'll be players on the buyout market. How about this? Tracy Chapman's Fast Car has reached #1 on U.S. iTunes after Grammys. I love that. Thank you. And the Super Bowl Media Center in Las Vegas has NFL-themed slot machines. NFL-themed slot machines. Front Office Sports, thanks for that one. I thought that was quite interesting. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Yes. Very good. Dennis Smith Jr. did not get. Okay, so I'm seeing if anybody else. Oh, Taylor Swift putting up more W's than the 95-96 Bulls. Network, $787 million is not going to be happy here. Justin in from CBS. Grammys viewership was up 34% from last year, averaging 60.9 million viewers, its largest Grammys audience since 2020. Yeah, I guess, what are you going to do? Killian Hayes, can't believe yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, so Lakers and Knicks go after Spider. I hope it works out, man. I hope it works out for you guys. I really do. We'll see. Time to tell. Okay, let's see. Did anything else happen? Oh. Trying to see if anybody. Tony East. Yeah. Haywood Highsmith was driving an estimated 45 and a. What's the big deal about that? Oh, wow. Police documents reveal that Haywood Highsmith was driving at an estimated 45 and a 40 when he hit a pedestrian from behind. Per TMZ Sports, the pedestrian appeared to be pushing a stalled car that did not have its lights on, leading to Highsmith being unable to stop in time. The collision resulted in the pedestrian losing part of his right leg, sustained a compound fracture in his left leg, and possibly breaking his left arm as well. But you know what? No lights on? I mean, really? Yeah. Miami Heat forward. This was Tuesday night. Wow. 11:20 p.m. Just minutes after he left the game. So he wasn't going fast. Yeah. You know what? I got to be honest with you. I'm not going to be here and yeah, not going to go there. Not going to say anything. All right. Did anything? That's what I was looking to see if anything else happened. Hey, what's up, Kelly? Daughter's a senior in high school. Best year of my life. Tell everybody enjoy that senior year. Doesn't come back ever. But damn, it's a good time. All right. Let me see NBA draft, NBA trade deadline, NBA trade deadline. Let me see. Oh, Tucker Carlson and Russia are two future draft picks. See the Knicks won the NBA trade deadline. Yeah. Orlando Magic, nothing. Ugh. Okay, so it closed. Buddy Hield. They said no one else. Patrick Beverleys. Yep. So nothing else. So those are the big names. Okay. Didn't miss anything. I thought I missed something else. Okay, didn't miss anything. Good for them. Warriors won yesterday over the Sixers, and Curry only took 7 shots. Yeah, crazy, right? Yeah, Warriors did not start off well, but Kerr thinks they could do something special with this group. We'll see. Klay Thompson is not, Gary Payton is returned to practice. He's missed the last 14 games, listed day to day. Klay Thompson, yeah, he says on his belief in this team, I see Steph Curry, I see Draymond. I go home and check our playoff record. Okay. And this is from Bordeaux on the Rockets. Most 30-point games from NBA players while being 21 or younger in league history. LeBron leads with 100, but Jalen Green 30 made he's 2 behind Shaquille O'Neal. And Lakers will be wearing the black Mamba uniforms on February 8th versus the Nuggets, following the unveiling of Kobe Bryant's bronze statue at Star Plaza outside of Crypto. Just doesn't sound right. Crypto.com Arena. The uniform will include an LA 24 on the belt and the 8 and 24 under the flap of each leg of the shorts. Yeah. And this is former NBA player Tariq Abdul-Wahad's message to athletes. This is one of these where you might have to sacrifice something, but something must be said. As exceptional as you are, you're only as exceptional as your moral fiber. First, I want to give you all the chance to put a message out there for all the athletes who want to say something and want to speak out, but are fearful for a whole lot of reasons. Yeah, losing. It's always about losing money. Yeah. What do you have to say to them? Grab your courage. You're extraordinary people. These athletes, you guys and ladies, are extraordinary. You're the 0.1%. If you think that is wrong, you should speak out, whether you're going to pay the price or not. Easier said than done. I'm going to be honest. This is one of those where you might have to sacrifice something, but something must be said. And as exceptional as you are, you only, and I'm talking to these athletes, as exceptional as you are only as exceptional as your moral fiber. Yes, that is true. But a lot of people, when you have money on the line and you have followers and you have advertisers, you are not going to cross the line. A lot of people won't say it. They just don't want to lose that money. And, it's a cancel culture now. You can't say anything. If you go against anything against the norm, hey, listen, I'm Jewish. Hey, listen, ceasefire. Nah, not at all. I'm like, go after Hamas, do whatever you have to do whatever you have to do. Meh. No ceasefire for me, guys. Ever. Nope. So I guess they can cancel me because I feel strongly in my belief. I feel Israel has to always defend itself from everybody. Everybody's out to get them. And yeah, so fuck them. And people post shit all day about it. And I have gotten rid of people that support the ceasefire and about the poor children of Gaza and all that shit. And I am like, torch the earth. Scorch, torch the earth. That's what I have to say. So I can keep it and keep my mouth shut, but it ain't happening on that front. I am all for, but interesting. Michael and I brought up an interesting point. It's something interesting. It made me think of something. Gumbo Chef yesterday. People, Toby Keith, I talked about the thing. The Toby Keith thing came from Ethan Hawke had written that piece, which I talked about. Toby Keith, Chris Christopherson got into it, and Chris Christopherson said, you ever serve, you ever kill anybody, you need to shut the fuck up, and all that. They got a little confrontation. And he said he was upset that Ethan Hawke never, put his name on the piece. Have some balls or whatever, which I hear, yeah, I can respect that people like Toby Keith's music. Like I can respect. Listen, um, Lethal Weapon, uh, Mel Gibson. Well, drunk, brought up Jews and all that stuff. I love his movies, dude. I can separate the artist from the person. Michael Jackson, allegedly, reportedly, with the young kids. I love Michael Jackson's music. I can do it. I can separate the two. I can say, okay, you have your feeling. No, Toby Keith, whatever. Hey, people like the music. I like the person. There's things, but so it's interesting how I have enough to say, I respect the artist. I don't respect his views. So we all have these things, right? We all talk about these things. Yeah. And everybody's quiet now. I guess everybody does what. As long as they have Jose is a Yankee fan. Okay. Yeah. Jose's been very quiet. Everybody's been very quiet today. And Rob's out with the podcast. Rob's out with his kid. Oh, so Boeheim called the game last night. He had a collection of pictures from when he ripped his jacket off while getting teed up at Duke 10 years ago. So Duke, of course, beats Notre Dame yesterday. They're 17-5. Notre Dame fell at 7-16. And this is from David Warlock, Syracuse's Malik Brown, first D1 player this year with at least 10 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals, and 5 blocks in a game. That's how the game. Did not happen even last year. They beat Louisville 94-92. They're 15-8, Louisville 7-16. And UNC Asheville upset High Point, and they're actually going to probably meet in the conference tournament. So High Point is 20-5, 9-1 in the conference, and Asheville is 16-9, and 18-2. So I like that because once March Madness happens, I like seeing the teams play against each other. And Patino talked about a salary cap between 1.5 and 2 million. Good luck with that, buddy. I hope it all works out for you. Yeah. And Clemson was 37th in the net before beating North Carolina on the road. Virginia is 32. When Clemson and Virginia move into the top 30, Memphis will have 3 quad. That's how it works too. You work up, you're the quad and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, I mean the net, it gives me a headache. It's like, and it doesn't matter anyway. Once a conference tournament comes, you have a bad win, a good win, and then it gets you in. But there's always a team that gets into the tournament with like 10, 11 losses that shouldn't be there over a High Point that had a great season but was in a smaller conference and get screwed. Because the big conferences get the bids, which is bullshit. Yeah. So they got the regular tickets are astronomical, about 8,000 to get in versus 6,000 last year. The suites, cheapest available is 200,000 for 4 seats. Most expensive is 2.5 million for 20 seats. That's 125,000 a person. You get food and beverage package and 2 parking passes for 20 tickets. 2 parking passes because there's no parking at that stadium. You have to cabs there. You cannot park there. There was no parking near the stadium. And Mahomes is now 10-3 in games where KC is the underdog. He's 11-1-1 against the spread. When Kansas City is the underdog, the Chiefs are currently a 2.5-point dog on Sunday. Trent McDuffie is going to try to slow down Deebo Samuel. Samuel, per PFF, has been the most difficult player to bring to the ground in the postseason. The former Pro Bowler has forced 0.62 missed tackles per touch. Samuel, that's the highest rate of any player with at least 5 catches. He had 8 catches for 89 yards in the NFC Championship game. But McDuffie was the highest coverage grade, 89.5 when lined up in the slot. He's missed just 3 tackles all season. And then Nick Bosa is is forced to face right tackle Jawan Taylor in the Super Bowl for KC. Taylor is a 41.0 PFF in the postseason, which is 27 out of 28 qualifying tackles. That's not good. Bosa is the second highest pass rush win rate in the postseason, while Taylor has allowed the 6th most pressures, which we saw what happened when they played Tampa Bay. You get in, he had that 31-9 game. They had a terrible Super Bowl that year. Left guard is also concerned. Starter Joe Tooney is likely to miss the big game with a significant pec injury. Nick Allegretti, his replacement, allowed 4 pressures on a sack in the AFC Championship game against the Ravens. We'll see what happens. Yeah, and they brought up the Super Bowl 55, lost to the Bucks. Yeah, Kyle Juszczyk's wife is not making anything for Taylor Swift. He goes, we're big supporters of Taylor, but not this week. So I think CMC's girlfriend is going to get something. Now, if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, they would have defeated 4 of the top 5 offenses in yards per play this postseason. 49ers were 1, Dolphins 2, Lions 3, Ravens 4, and Bills 5. Pretty awesome. I mean, that's crazy, right? That is nuts, man. Yeah. Only 4 of the 53 Super Bowls winners trailed by 10 plus points in the fourth quarter of the playoffs. 1976 Raiders 11 versus New England in the divisional round, where they said there was a bogus call. The Raiders shouldn't even have won that goddamn game. 2001 10 versus Oakland. That was the what was that? What did they call it? The fumble. I'm blanking on what it was. Yeah, where he lost the ball. Yeah, that they should have been a fumble. They didn't call it. They called it a pass. Yeah, bullshit call there. 2014, yeah, Super Bowl. Freaking Seattle blew that game, and then Atlanta, freaking 2016. God damn it. Ugh. And the only teams to win a Super Bowl after trailing by 15 points in the Super Bowl in the postseason. 2006 Colts with Peyton, and 2016 with Brady, and 2019 with the Chiefs with Mahomes. Psh. Son of a bitch. God damn it. Oh, and Ben McAdoo is now an senior offensive assistant with the Pats. Good for them. He's going to be great. Ben McAdoo. And Layden Holyfield put this up about, that the Cowboys interviewed former Seahawks, Falcons, Jets, and Eagles assistant Marquand Manuel for the vacant defensive coordinator position, which means that they officially have their guy either at Zimmer, Rex, or Ron Rivera. And because number one is true, he said, they must now officially check the Rooney Rule box. Yeah, that's the same thing that the Commanders did with Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn was just to meet the Rooney Rule. It's amazing. We got to do this, but you're not hiring Aaron Glenn should be the coach over Dan Quinn. I'm sorry. Aaron Glenn should be given a shot. Dan Quinn, you got your shot. You fucking blew in the Super Bowl. You don't deserve a second shot. At all. You don't. You don't deserve it at all, dude. No, not even close. So, bullshit. I call bullshit on that front. And this guy was vicious. Joey Ikes said about the Chargers. You now have a guy who was just fired because his passing game belongs in 1997, working for a head coach in Harbaugh. He's talking about Greg Roman. Working for Harbaugh, who hasn't been in the league for a decade, who offenses were really bad in college football until he handed it to Sharon Moore. I would say the offenses were not that exciting to watch. These are the guys who are supposed to support Justin Herbert. The fact that Jim Harbaugh hired Greg Roman as his OC a year after his brother fired him is an example of exactly why you couldn't hire that guy as a head coach. And they said Greg Roman's worked with Lamar Jackson, Colin Kaepernick, Tyrod Taylor, and Alex Smith. Connor Allen says he's a different skill set than just about all of these players. Great. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that's an interesting point right there, Mr. Ikes. I really do. Joey X, I got to be honest with you. I'm not really sold on I'm not really sold on I'm not really sold on him either. I mean, we're going to see. I don't know why he picked Greg Roman. I think there's other guys out there. Greg Roman was shit. Well, what did Monken do in the goddamn AFC Championship game against they did nothing. What, they were 6 times with the running backs? I'll tell you, he didn't do a good job either. I would have fired his ass after that game too. Yeah, Emmitt Smith was asked. This is from Andrew Perloff. Emmitt Smith was asked by Coach McCarthy, who's back in Dallas, because I'm not the GM. Ronald Curry, who was at UNC when I was there, is now with the Bills quarterback coach. And the Lions have hired Deshea Townsend as the new passing game coordinator. He won 2 Super Bowls with Pittsburgh as a player, was previously with the Jaguars. Now, I got some great, this Mike Lombardi book, I got some good stuff. He talked about, with Jerry Rice, motivation and drive. Motivation is a desire, something we want to achieve. Drive is how far we are willing to tax our bodies and minds to conquer what lies ahead. Rice had incredible drive, and that drive manifested itself on the field, in college, and in the pros. Because nobody offered him scholarships. Mississippi Valley State, which averaged like 50 points a game his senior year. I mean, he had it. And Ronnie Lott. So they wanted Ray Rhodes, who became the head coach of the Eagles. They wanted to draft Tim McKyer, who they said wasn't a big tackler. And Rhodes said, Ronnie will get him. Ronnie will get him where he needs to be. And they want them to play better. So Lott would have, they said Lott will make it happen. Lott would be able to make Bakir scared to death to return to the huddle if he gave it one of his signature turn downs on a tackle. And if you have ever been on a football field and watched Ronnie Lott play, lead, demand, and compete, then you knew what Rhodes said was completely true. He possessed that Michael Jordan competitive gene that fuels others and demands more of himself. Former NBA coach Jeff Van Gundy once said, "Your best player must set the tone of intolerance for anything that gets in the way of winning." He went 8th overall in 81 out of USC. The guy amputated his finger so he wouldn't miss any game time. He got his finger caught in someone's helmet, so he wouldn't miss any games. Yeah, and I thought this was kind of weird. So this was from Seth Wickersham. We know that we can draw up a jazzy offense regardless of personnel. We know we can hire well and diverse. In fact, owners have complained to the league official about the sheer number of compensatory picks the 49ers have received for serving as a pipeline for coaches and executives of color. So you think that's why they're doing it? Because they're trying to get compensation picks for this? You think? Or maybe they're just hiring coaches that are turning out to be really good head coaches and coaches for other teams and GMs. That maybe all these teams that are passing over and Aaron Glenn and Bieniemy and all these guys of color that can't get jobs, and we keep retreading these coaches like Brian Johnson. I'd like to see him go somewhere, and Washington, hope it works out there. But you tell me Dan Quinn really deserves a second chance? Really? And after the debacle of what happened in the playoff game with Dallas, I mean, I really think you're judged on what you've done most recently, and I that was an atrocity. That was embarrassing. That defense did nothing, and all year making the plays, doing this, doing that, and to get blown out at home in the first playoff game, and that got him. And Washington was like, "This is our guy," because these fucking owners are all fucking morons. How the fuck did he get a job? Are you kidding me? I still don't get it. Dan Quinn, great hire. Okay, yeah, okay, sure thing, buddy. Yeah, he's great. Yeah. And Chris Trapasso thinks about Spencer Rattler. I got more athletic Sam Howell vibes watching him, and Howell is now is he a polarizing NFL quarterback? Polarizing? Did not end well for him. I was very impressed with him for most of the year, too. Rattler will probably go day 3, but is legit plus starter upside. It is not a total project. Pretty rare, he said. Nice. And then I'd like Howell to get another chance. I think he made some bad plays, but got through over 4,000 yards, and he had some good games. I think they don't give these guys a chance to develop. Like he has he's one season, and he shows potential. Give him guys to play, get a good coach. I mean, the whole team was falling apart by the end of the season. And where's Sam Howell? Jesus, bring him to the Jets. Let him start for the Jets. I'll take him. Giants, anybody. I think he should be playing somewhere. We'll see what happens. So this is about Bill Walsh. He wanted to bring Steve Dills as quarterback from Stanford because he knew his system, which he was taking him to the Niners. But then he saw Joe Montana. He said it was bigger and quicker. He threw better. Lombardi said that I believe Walsh because he never did things by the seat of his pants. He was detail oriented, especially when considering a quarterback. He would openly tell me, Michael, few men coach the position, and even fewer can evaluate the position. And Walsh could do both. He said the quarterback had to be like a great boxer with quickness and movement, throwing well-timed punches. Walsh didn't care about arm talent or size. The quarterback needed great feet that worked with his arm in complete harmony. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then another piece about Otto Graham. He never called his own plays. Brady, Montana, Payton, others didn't. But that was considered a shortcoming in the 50s. He played in the AA. He played in another conference of the NFL. So he led his team to the equivalent of 10 straight Super Bowls, winning 7 and finishing with a 9-3 playoff record. Paul Brown, who recruited Graham, wrote in his autobiography, "As far as I'm concerned, Otto Graham was the greatest player in the game's history, playing the most important position." And that's pretty big words. So he was in high school. He played against a guy named Bill DeCoverant, who in high school played a game. Now, I read in the book that he said 120,000, but he played in front of 90,000 people in the public school league championship game. Austin High School brought an estimated 90,000 fans to Soldier Field. He scored a touchdown at the end of the game, a game that ended in a tie. I don't know how a championship game ends in a tie. But another player in Chicago, north of the city, in Waukegan, Illinois, Otto Graham was a 2-sport all-state player, was not gaining as much attention. So It was good. So Bill, the Coverant, he was drafted in the drafted drafted in 1942 by Washington, but didn't play until 1945. After serving in World War II, he retired in 1949 after 2 seasons with the Bears, where Otto Graham had a phenomenal career. This was a guy who was all high school. They said he was the greatest high school player ever, and it didn't translate to the pros. But the guy did, served our country. So I got to give him respect for that. Yeah, he was a star in 36. Can you imagine 90,000 people coming to watch you play in a high school football game? Unbelievable. And then Jonathan Ogden. When a left tackle can dominate in the run game, creating movement and win the one-on-one matchup, the defense is forced to adjust. To help defend the run, the defense must align a defensive back near the right side of the line to help with run support. This limits the overall effectiveness in other areas. By the time the defensive ends were ready to pass rush, Ogden had worn them down considerably, and their effectiveness vanished. He was sensational at controlling the line of scrimmage, beating up on smaller, less physical ends. Many evaluators gushed openly over his skills when pass blocking, and it was his run blocking that changed the game for any team facing the Ravens. And is this the last thing I ever about? Yeah. Okay. So sweetness, Walter Payton. He would carry the load of the offense, never wore down. He pushed himself to be the best, a complete back, took great pride in performing his best in running, blocking, and coaching. So in 85, the great 85 team outscored their opponents by 258 and became the winner of Super Bowl 20. He was 31, averaged 4.8 yards per carry, and gained the second best of his career and gained 1,551 yards on the ground, carrying the ball 324 times. He was never going to settle on a coin flip to decide the quality of his career, unlike Papa Bear Hallis. He did everything in his power to assure himself the odds were in his favor. He had great command of his running style, mixing up his pattern like a great baseball pitcher who can throw a 100-mile-per-hour fastball, an amazing slider, and a killer changeup. By shifting and changing speeds, he used his stutter and go move to lure the tackler into believing he might change direction laterally, but then charge ahead with his head down, making tacklers miss or fall off him. His stiff arm was as lethal as a Mike Tyson jab. He's able to make tacklers pay a price for getting too close. So in his 14-year career, he carried the ball over 300 times for all but 3. Think about that. 11 of his 14 seasons, he had over 300 carries. His first, last, and one in the middle. So 3 seasons. The first season, his last season in 82. Since 2017, the NFL has only had 8 runners who've carried the ball over 300 times in one season, and only 2 have done it twice. Derrick Henry of the Titans and Ezekiel Elliott. So I looked up CMC. CMC has never had 300 carries in a season. 2019, he had 287. The next 2 years, he played 10 games. This year, he had 272. So 11 of his 14 goddamn seasons, he had over 300 carries. He had a hill at his house that he run up and down. Same thing with Jerry Rice. Very big in conditioning. Just worked his ass off. And I still pisses me off that he never got a touchdown in the Super Bowl, but they gave one to the fridge. This was the guy who carried the fucking franchise, and they fucked him. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Ditka, but you had to know what was going on. And someone should have been in your ear that Peyton has not scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. Then someone has to get in your ear and go, dude, he hasn't scored. Bullshit. And, Ed Reed with the Panthers is the only player from the 2002 draft to make the Hall of Fame. Pepper should be the second one. That's it. And that was a guy that they couldn't move the pick, so they ended up drafting him out of Miami. Wasn't the biggest, wasn't the fastest. Ended up being a Hall of Famer. Some might say Newsom got lucky, which to a degree is true, yet he still thought highly enough of Reed to have him in his flock, which I agree. And this was also in the book. Great teams don't trick their opponents. Great teams don't trick their opponents. They out-execute them with their talent, performing at the highest level. I totally agree. And Ejiro Evero is going to stay with the Panthers. Forrest Gregg, Vince Lombardi said, is quite simply the finest football player ever coached. Yeah. Ray Lewis, too. How about this? When the Super Bowl season, they allowed 23 points in 4 games, 5.7 points per game. Yeah, that was the guy. I think that was the guy who stood out in all the tape. They were watching, and Ray Lewis was all over the field in high school, or college. That he was all over the field. But Ray Lewis was already a very good player in college. And he was a high school wrestling champ, which I didn't know. Yeah, I hope things Yeah, the NFL typically doesn't play Friday or Saturday games until after the end of the high school and college football regular seasons. This is from Front of Sports. But next season, a loophole in the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961 will put the NFL into the Friday Night Lights in September in Brazil. And this is from this is I saw. I don't know if this is allegedly. Reportedly, Kirk Herbstreit was allegedly tampering with a star recruit to convince him to go to Nebraska. The father of five-star quarterback Dylan Raiola revealed that ESPN analysts called his son, and Kirk specifically advocated for Dylan to commit to the Huskers. That said, I'll bring up one guy's name. His name is Kirk Herbstreit. When he saw the smoke about Dylan entertaining Nebraska, he was like, call me. He was like, dude, if this is true, you got to do it. Dylan flipped from Georgia to Nebraska. He's expected to be the starting quarterback. For the record, Kirk contacted this recruit. Is not illegal. Herbstreit is not employed as a college coach. So this phone call influencing a recruitment technically isn't against NCAA rules. However, many find it unethical that an ESPN analyst who is supposed to be remain unbiased is actively pushing a top recruit to a certain school. Yeah, he was still at the forefront of the CFP collusion scandal involving FSU. It was a few months ago. Many FSU fans believe that Kirk had a hand in influencing the College Football Playoff Committee into excluding the Noles as he lobbied against FSU making the playoffs for weeks prior. The claims that Kirk might have had back-channel communications with the committee to influence them are only going to grow after this. Thank you, Jonathan Williams from Florida Illustrated. Hey, it doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound good for the home team. But, people do what they do, right? I mean, yeah. Yeah, so we shall see. Oh, Joel Embiid, what do you put after the trade deadline? Lots of people got better. That's fun for competition. Yay. Yes, lots of everybody got better and people are happy. And if people are happy, I'm happy. And Harvard is bringing a new head coach. Rutgers tight end Andy Orrick is going to replace Tim Murphy, who spent over 3 decades with the program. He was hired by Greg Schiano as offensive line coach at Rutgers. He was running backs in 2022, moved to tight ends last fall. And he's also former associated coach, offensive coordinator at Princeton. He's a Princeton graduate, spent a season in the NFL as a defensive assistant with Schiano with the Bucks. Now, I thought this was great. They said more contracts need to include beat your rivals' asses bonuses like New Mexico State. So he would also get $10,000 each for wins over New Mexico and UTEP, plus $10,000 for being named Conference USA Coach of the Year. He received $25,000 for a win over a Power 5 team. Cherry Kill got the same deal. And this is Justin Wilcox at Cal because they're going to the ACC. So if they beat Stanford, regular season $25,000, beat UCLA, USC, or Oregon. So they said I guess that's SMU this coming season. During the regular season, provided such team has at least 6 regular season wins, he gets $10,000. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So he gets $50,000 Pac-12 championship game. That's going to change. So what do you get? National championship game, he gets $100,000. National coach of the year. So that's it, huh? Not a lot of money, man. Yeah. I don't know. I love this from Buck Showalter. We had a guy who had a triple and 2 doubles, and they came in and said he probably needs a day off because he ran too much around the bases on load management in baseball. Altuve got 5 years, $125 million, $30 million, 30, 30, 25, and $10 million. Entering the final, he's spent his whole career. So Atlanta, I'm trying to look at the most wins because it's an alphabetical order, which is bullshit. The Dodgers this is from MLB win odds from Jeff Sherman. Washington 69.5. The Yankees at 92.5. The Mets at 82.5. Dodgers 104.5. Atlanta 101.5. Baltimore's less than the Yankees, 90.5. Boston 77.5. Houston's at 91.5, below the Yankees. I don't get it. Minnesota's at 84.5. Philly's at 89.5. San Diego's 82.5. Seattle's 86.5. Seattle and Tampa Bay 85.5. Texas, the defending champs, 87.5. Toronto 88.5. So if that's the case, it looks like the Mets and Yankees are making the postseason. Because I don't see a lot of 80s here. I mean, Cleveland 80. Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, saw that. I was like, yeah. All right. Okay. So Clayton Kershaw, in the 2006 draft, the Pirates he'd heard they wanted to draft him. So early in the season, they might choose him. So they emailed him a battery of questions, a common practice at the time. He glazed over the questionnaire. Probably toward the end, I was just like click, 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 click. But during a pre-draft meeting, the Pirates told me flunked the exam. They said I had conflicting answers. He went number 7 that year to the Dodgers. The rest is history. So there's a book coming out. The Athletic is publishing an excerpt from The Last of His Kind, which comes out May 7th, but the first time he signed with the Dodgers. All right. I mean, listen, you know what? I used to do that. I used to do ABBA or ACDC on tests when I just was flying through it. Figured I had a better chance than me actually because I didn't know the answers. But Cal Ripken, drafted by his hometown Orioles, played with his brother Billy, managed by his dad Cal Ripken Sr., Rookie of the Year, 2-time MVP, 19-time All-Star, 2,632 consecutive games, World Series champ, Hall of Famer, number 8 retired, had a Ripken baseball, became Orioles part owner. Not bad. And League One Volleyball and Tonal announced partnership. Tonal's that strength training brand to bring volleyball-specific training programs to consumers. All right. In addition to setting up Tonal machines and workout rooms, the joint collab also provide community-friendly programming available to all of LOVB's participating club members. League One Volleyball. All right. Fill the gap that exists today in the smart gym space, providing volleyball-specific workouts and exercise branded by LOVB and available through Tonal. And this was kind of funny. So FIFA isn't paid by American Stadium sponsors, so every stadium will have to change its name to City Region Stadium. So Gillette Stadium will be known as Boston Stadium, even though it's not in Boston. Santa Clara, Levi Stadium will become San Francisco Bay Area Stadium. Arlington's will be known as Dallas Stadium, which locals think is an Arlington erasure. And stranger, MetLife will become New York, New Jersey Stadium. And they're fun facts. Did you know that numerous A-list performers have featured at New York, New Jersey Stadium, including Bruce Springsteen, Beyonce, Ed Sheeran? This is from FIFA. Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift. Did you know New York's most famous natives include NBA legend Michael Jordan? What? I think he was, yeah. And actress Scarlett Johansson. Really? Michael Jordan. I don't think, when I think of New York natives, I don't think of Michael Jordan. The iconic Monopoly board is largely based on the streets and locations within New Jersey's Atlantic City. New York Yankees have won 27 World Series titles, a record, more than double any other MLB team. New Jersey-born U.S. men's national team legend Tim Howard's 16 saves against Belgium at Brazil 2014 is a World Cup record. And the famous leave the gun, take the cannoli scene from The Godfather was set in Jersey City. Get the fuck out of here. Really? Because when you think of The Godfather, you think of New Jersey. And people were putting all these comments. Jersey Shore they should have put in there. The Sopranos, something. But now they're putting New York and New Jersey together. So Michael Jordan was born. I guess he was born, right? He was born here. Michael Jordan. Birthplace? Is that what I said? Yeah. Michael Jordan was born in Brooklyn, New York, when his father was on business assignment, but he was raised in North Carolina. All right. Born in Brooklyn. Yes. Yeah, he didn't grow up here. Yeah. Come on. Born in Brooklyn. That's a reach. That's a big reach. Yeah. 76ers won Kyle Lowry. They could pursue. Who are they going to pursue? Paul George. If he doesn't sign the extension with the Clippers. Yeah. Oof, that'd be nice. Philly sending Jaden Springer to Boston for second round pick. Lakers to be aggressive in the buyout market. 4 teams are eyeing Dinwiddie. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's it. That's all we got. Yeah, Newsbreak, which Bumbles got me, is the biggest fucking bullshit of an app. They said former Yankee superstar signs with a new team. I'm like, superstar? Gary Sanchez was a superstar? Guys, get the fuck out of here. All right. Trivia questions. I have a good one for today. Last show's trivia question was, there are 2 quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame that have 0 playoff wins. Y.A. Tittle and Sammy Baugh. Sammy Bow. I always got it. Yeah, Sammy Bow. Those Wyatt Tittle and Sammy Bow. Sammy Bow. Sammy Bow. Wait, how do you? I know I'm butchering that. Yeah, trivia. You didn't get yet. You weren't going to get the last one. You're not going to get today's either there. Pronunciation. Sammy Bow. Pronunciation. Okay. Sammy Bow. Let's say. Yeah, I don't know. Sammy Ba. Sammy Bow? Yeah. Let me see. Sammy Baugh. Sammy Baugh. Sammy Baugh. I screwed it up. Okay. Today's trivia question. Tell me the only quarterback in NFL history to start Super Bowls for multiple teams without a win. There is one quarterback in NFL history to start Super Bowls for multiple teams without a win in those starts. Name him. One quarterback, NFL history to start Super Bowls for multiple teams without a win in those starts. The floor is yours there, Josh. All right, you got about I'll give you about 30 seconds. Do 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 do. I should find the Jeopardy music playing. Do 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 do. You know who it is, Josh? The only quarterback to start for multiple teams, start and not win a Super Bowl. Yeah, Jose was very quiet today. Everybody's quiet today. Do you have an answer, Josh? I know broadcast Rob. I know Aaron's working, so and I told Bumbles I was on today, but I think he's working. Well, he's definitely working. So you got anything for me, bud? Anything. Come on, give it to me. Whoa, that is way too loud. All right, yep. Come on, dude. Only quarterback start multiple teams and not win a Super Bowl. Only quarterback to play for multiple teams and not win a Super Bowl. Holy shit, was that funny? Yeah, that was a good one. That might have been my all-time favorite. Do you have anything? Come on, dude. Something. Come on. Give me something. You don't have it, do you? Yeah. Yeah, you don't. I'm going to go with your very, very quiet. Yeah. So, okay. So thank you, Josh. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Angel. Thank you, Kelly. It was great having you all on today. Think the world of you. Send my love to Michigan. My mom is actually going to see a cousin tomorrow. She has not seen in over 30-something years. My cousin Steven down in Maryland. They, families have fights and they're going to see each other. I'm very excited about that. And she's being driven down by her nephew's daughter. So her niece is driving. Yeah, her nephew. Yeah, her nephew. Yes. Her nephew's daughter. So her niece, right? Niece? Yes. She's driving my mother down. Bear's going in to stay in a doggy place. So, yeah, thank you all today. Had a great show. Great as always. We will answer that trivia question probably tomorrow. He's got nothing. All right. Love you guys. Peace out.